Hello guys, in today's video we have something that's long, pink and smooth. Smooth blends, that is. Hello fellow heroes of the blue and welcome to my channel, and also welcome to another painting tutorial. And today I have a real treat for you because I am going to paint pink power swords. So let's get cracking. So as you can see, we're starting from a base coat of a 1-to-1 mix of a Screamer Pink and Emperor's Children, and what I will do first is to sketch all my areas of highlights and shadows using a 1-to-1 mix of Emperor's Children and Dawn Yellow. So I just have that paint here, and now I need to decide where I place my highlights. So I will do one here, one area here, and one area right there. And for the other face of the blade, I'm going to apply this mix of paints into the opposite places. So there, there, and a tiny bit down there. With our areas of highlight now sketched out, and you can make as many or as little of this as you want. You can just do one highlight and one shadow post, but for larger swords like this one, I like to do several. So I'm now going to blend this a bit better, and for this I'm going to use pure Emperor's Children and going to thin it down into a sort of heavy glaze consistency. You can see the consistency right there. And what I will do is apply this from the base coat mix into the highlight mix, and from the highlight mix into this middle section. So I'm starting from the base tone, push it into this crease, into this separation line there, and I do the same onto the highlights. So I'm pushing from here and from here. The idea is to have more Emperor's Children depositing on top of that harsh line there. So I'm starting from here, and if I feel I have too much of a highlight like I did here, I can push this section of more concentrated Emperor's Children to where I want it to be. So that first pass of glazing with Emperor's Children is now dry, and I'm going to do a second one. The idea here is to just blend everything as good as I can. Remember, you have to move from the other color into the area of maximum Emperor's Children. That way you are pushing the pigments into the correct spot, and you will have an easier time later on. Sometimes you can clean the brush and feather out if you have a too harsh of a transition. As you can see, our areas of highlight are getting smaller, and that's why we went really big with them on the first place. I am quite happy with the transition from the lighter highlight into the Emperor's Children, but I'm not quite so happy with the transition into the darker base coat. So I'm going to take that base coat color, this is a 1-to-1 mix of Screamer Pink and Emperor's Children. I'm going again to thin it down into a heavy glaze consistency, and what I will do is just glaze back down that transition where I feel it's a bit too harsh. So like there. Again, I'm glazing from the highlight color into the shadow because this is our darkest color. So I will do it like this. And I will do as many passes as I need to get the perfect blend. You may find that once you do this, you need to go back into your Emperor's Children and glaze it down just one more time to really smooth everything out. That is perfectly okay, so just glaze as much as you need to get the perfect blend. I finished glazing with my base coat mix, and now, as you can see, there are some inconsistencies in terms of opacity over the brightest highlight, so I'm going to take care of that. I'm going to take my highlight, this is 1:1 mix of Dawn Yellow and Emperor's Children, again, thin it down to this sort of consistency, and I'm just going to apply this very carefully over the highlights, trying to make this paint deposit more just in the very brightest parts. If you feel some of the transitions from the Emperor's Children into this highlight are a bit rough, this will even them out just fine. With that last step, I'm quite happy with all my blends, and now for less shadow I'm going to use Phoenician Purple. And as I've been doing until now, I'm going to thin this down into this sort of heavy glaze. I really like this consistency, and I'm going to apply this into the deepest shadows. So just here, again glazing from the edges of the blend with the Emperor's Children and moving my brush to deposit more paint just in the middle there. And this purple, which is quite cold, really gives a very nice contrasting shadow for the blade, and it's really beautiful. That's all my shadows and all my midtones now finished, and it's just the final highlights left to do. And for my next highlight I'm going to use a mix of 2 parts Dawn Yellow, 2 parts white, and 1 part Emperor's Children. And I'm going to thin this down using Lamy Medium because this has a lot of white in it, and Lamy Medium will help me thin this down to a greater degree than water without it breaking down and creating a mess. So with my mix now thinned down again, this time it's thinner because having so much white, if I don't thin this down more, it will create tie lines. So I'm going to apply this into the highest areas of highlight, again pushing the pigments into those bits from the others, always end the brush stroke where you want more paint to go. And again, you can use this mix to smooth out any transition that you feel is a bit iffy. Once this is fully dry, you can do another coat, and I will do as many coats as I need to have this be this pure highlight color. And on top of this glazing, I'm going to take this mix and I'm going to do a full-on edge highlight on all the blade. Here for the center section, you really want to highlight this ridge as well, so I'm going to take a thin brush, be very careful, and draw this line as consistent as I can make it. And there's now just one more color to do, and that is white. And I usually never talk about what kind of white I use, because for most applications all whites are basically the same. But when we're talking about glazing, I found the only real option if you want to glaze with white successfully is using white ink. So I'm going to use white ink to glaze the final highlights on the blade. As you can see, my white ink is really thinned down, and I'm just going to glaze this on the brightest bits. Again, I'm moving my brush as I did before, letting more paint drop down there and down there. As far as I know, there are a lot of good white inks, but I'm using Daler Rowney, but I know Liquitex and Schmink also do white inks that I believe work really well too. So once that first layer dries, I'm going to apply a second one and as always as many layers as I need to get pure white on my blade. On top of that glazing, I'm going to take a regular white acrylic, it doesn't really matter which one is, and I'm just going to edge highlight with it. So I will pick up the edges here. I'm trying to do the smallest edge highlight I can possibly do. I'm going to focus this more on the parts where is more light is gathered, for example here, and leaving a tiny bit not highlighted there. But you could do a full edge highlight as long as it's thinner than our previous one. And as always, I'm going to take this and also edge highlight the middle ridge. No secrets here, sadly. It's just a matter of brush control. Use the tip of your brush and try not to talk while you're doing this. It really doesn't help. So there's just one more step left to do that I like to make in this kind of blades, and that is to make really small light glints, light reflections on the blade itself. And for this I'm going to take white again. I'm going to make very thin parallel lines coming from the blade. It's very important that these lines are parallel. I will make some large, some small. And try to make them look or feel as random as possible. That is actually harder than it sounds. And with that last step done, our pink power swords are finished, and also our model is now finished too. And this is one of those videos that is just such a pleasure to make, because first of all, I'm painting something for myself, and second, I just love painting Eldar and power swords, so this is the best combination possible. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed watching it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye! Do you like my videos and want to help me make them? Well, there are several ways you can do that. You can follow me on social media. You have the links to all my social media in the description below. You can also check all my affiliate links in the pinned comment of this video. Use those links in your next hobby purchase and help me without any additional cost to you. I also have merch that you can see just below this video in the shop tab of my channel, but most importantly there is Patreon channel members. You have the link to my Patreon in the description below and in the pinned comment of the video, or if you prefer you can just click the join button below this video. Patreon channel members help me do all the cool projects that I want to make and help me improve the quality of my videos. Don't be afraid, no content will ever be hidden behind a paywall, but it's a nice way to help me. You will get something back for your generosity. As I said guys, thank you very much for watching, and a special thank you to Daniel Figueiredo, Heather Amstead, Lauren Sigismundi, Ben Morin, Victor Domen, Michael Boye, Christoph Moret, Joshua Bohannon, Ryan Mann, Bel Drain, Patrick Katsisis, Javi Mota, Kevin Sulas, Kieran Omurtha, Leonard Lindemann, Dr. V, G-Force, Elric Ketch, Sasha Park, Yeti Butler, Josh Simpson, Dominic Trevizo, Richard Kwiatkowski, Brent Sealinger, Mark Jarvis, One Brushstroke Better, Gareth Smith, Vilkas War, Mateo De Rienzo, Arondel, Natius Maximus, Samuel Supernef, Equitas, Chris Fybe, Darcy Farrar, Kevin Mian, and Jamie Milligan for being the coolest persons in the planet. Be like these fine folks on my Patreon and take control.